So here we go. Here's the pale ale. Still finishing out. It's down to 1017, 1018. That's as high as I can get the heating belt. So it's just an old iPhone. I got it set to 90, but it really won't go much past 86. So just to let it finish out, this is the Kavike Juggernaut that's in here. Just sitting here at room temperature with a heating belt on it. And yeah, hopefully it'll be done in the next couple of days, probably, I would think. Hey guys, Matt here at Brewery. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. We're going to go commercial this week. This is from the boys up in Exit 12. Thank you for sending me this as part of the care package. This is from the Trillium Brewing Company. The Essential Torch, it's called. It's an American pale lager, 4.3%, brewed there in Massachusetts. Some information on the can here. They use local ingredients, Pilsner malt from Valley Malt, and crystal hops from the 4 Star Farms. It says, like any good set of tools, a clean, crisp, and refreshing lager is paramount for any New England adventure. While the recipes will change, the focus on incorporating local ingredients and quenching thirst will never waver. Grab your gear, pack an essential lager, and get outside. Well, it's a little chilly outside now. It's late at night. Today was a brew day. Just drying out the kettles and things from our brew day earlier. Me and Gary, we did a collaboration. Some more to come on that as we get some videos together. Not all of it fit, but there you go. Nice crystal clear beer, very light in color, very light golden color. Got a nice frothy head on that. It's probably not going away anytime soon. Yeah, it definitely has that nice sort of, it's got like a nice crisp, like citrus kind of an aroma to it. A little bit of citrus, very clean. Cheers. Just what I needed on a nice hard day's work here in the brew house. That's real nice. Yeah, thanks guys. I really appreciate it. See if I can top it off. Yeah, real refreshing, nice and smooth. Real nice clean lager, very nice. All right, so what I wanted to talk about today was some of the woes that I've been dealing with as far as water goes, mash pH, for the past couple of years. So real quick, I've been using Brew & Water for keeping an eye on what my mash pH is supposed to be based on the amount of salts that I'm putting into my brew to achieve a certain water profile. So, and I'll show you some of that here after this. I'll show you a screen share of that. But basically, I have a water filter that I've run my water through into the HLT. Water here is pretty good, all low in content. There's not a lot going on there. The only thing I wasn't sure about was chlorine and chloramines in the water. So on top of running the water through the water filter, the carbon filter there, I've also been adding in essentially the powder form of Camden tablets to treat for any chlorine or chloramines that might be in my water. Little did I know, all this time I've been apparently overdosing that. So Camden tablet is supposed to treat 20 gallons of water. And I guess I just never added 2 and 2 together with all this stuff, but I never had the tablet itself, so I didn't really know how much it weighed. I was talking to some guys online, both in the BrewTubers Discord as well as in various Facebook groups, and a bunch of guys kind of came to my aid. Gavin being one of them from over in the UK, Gavin Elliott. You guys have probably seen his content on the Homebrew Network. I think it used to be called cellar dwellers at one point. But anyway, he was saying that, yeah, you're doing the right thing, but I think you're using too much. And I didn't realize that, and I also didn't realize what the effect was of it. Apparently it tanks the pH. I actually found that out by mistake the other day when I was taking a water sample to try to adjust my pH meter, and I couldn't figure out why it was saying my pH was like 4 when it's, my water pH here at the house is 7.1. I didn't realize it's because, I took a sample out of the HLT, and sure enough, it's because there was a lot of, a lot of Camden in there that it tanked my pH that much. And apparently that trickles down. And when this all kind of made sense to me this week when I was going into these conversations, like, well, okay, that explains why my mash has always been a little bit low, and I've had to adjust the software to make sure my mash was supposed to be what I expect it to be. Because I'm starting off with a much lower mash pH, and it has a different buffering power than my standard water does because of that. So mind blown. I'm really happy because today's brew day went really well. What the software told me I was going to have for my mash pH was a lot closer to what I actually got. So I'm hopefully no longer afraid to use the acid malt. I used to be afraid of using it, at least in any kind of quantity, because I knew it was going to bring my mash pH pretty low. But anyway, I talked to my water company, and they said that they don't pass chloramines through the water, so I know I don't have that. And for a chlorine agent, they use, I think it's something called sodium hypochlorite, I think is what they called it, or cryptochlorite or something. But anyway, not super important. I just know that the amount that I was putting in with the water was too much. I think Gavin was saying that a Camden tablet, it weighs what, like 0.7 grams. And I weighed out the amount of this powder I've been putting in, and I was putting in about 6 grams. So that's almost 10 times the amount that I should be putting in there. But I've been putting in, it's potassium metabisulfate. They also have sodium metabisulfate. Same sort of thing, just one has more sodium, one has potassium. It does the same thing. And I've been following the dosage on the back of the package, which I saved on here just so I didn't forget. But apparently it's wrong, because the dosage that it says on here isn't for what I'm trying to use it for. It's more for sanitizing or winemaking. It says to add 1/4 teaspoon to 5 gallons of must or wine. Yeah, so I was always putting in 1/2 teaspoon because I have 10 gallons. But well, the HLT is 13 or 14, so it's it was close. So that's kind of what I was going off of. But yeah, lessons learned. A pinch of that is all I need now. So it's a big difference. And here at the end of this, I'll go ahead and show you what I do in brewing water. I have been farting around with Brewfather lately. Thank you, Nate Pico, for pointing that out. I know Brian at Short Circuited showed us a couple of how-tos on that software a few months ago, and I just sort of pushed it off. I'm like, well, I have Beersmith. What do I need this for? But I'll tell you, I've been playing around with it for a little over a week now, and I really like it. It's a lot of fun. Everything's all together, and I've been doing my last brew day with it, and I've been keeping track of my couple of most recent batches in there, and I like what I see, so I'm just going to continue messing with that, and I'll probably put together a video of more detail of it if you guys are interested. But yeah, brew day worked out really good. No issues. Gary and I had a good time, so look for those videos when they come out. And yeah, I guess that's it. So I will see you guys on the next video. Again, thank you, Exit 12, for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. Still got a few in there to get through, but very cool of you guys to send this. I do really appreciate it. So I hope everybody has a good night. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, everybody. Cheers. Okay, so this is Brewing Water. This is the tool that I've been using as a water spreadsheet to keep track of my water profiles and mash pH predictions so I know on brew day roughly what I can expect to see. And it's worked pretty well for me. I've had to adjust it based on what I thought my original issue was, which is I thought the acid malt being too strong. But now that I know what my real source of my problem is with the Camden, now I can more trust the software and I can go back to using it as it was intended. But I just wanted to show you guys. I'm not going to go through a detailed report of this software. There are tutorials out there for that. I just want to kind of glance over how I use it and how noticing this issue has really impacted how this works. So I just want to show you this. Under the water per report, this is where my source water information is. As you can see, it was set to 7.1, and all my mineral content is pretty low here in South Carolina. Under the grain bill, this is just an example of a Tipsy Smurf recipe I did a couple weeks ago, where you can see the Pilsner wheat that I used, half and half, and then the acidulated malt. I tried to be real conservative with it this time because I knew that, or at least I thought at the time, that my acid malt was really strong, so I didn't want to go too high on it. I did set it to 1.5 ounces and noticed that that's got to right where I wanted to be, which we were aiming for a mash pH of, I believe, 5.3 or 5.4 that day, so that got me there. Now, the reason why it's looking so good here, and the reason why it was working for me, is I changed this acid malt strength setting. By default, it's set to 1. I changed it to a 2, assuming my acid malt was stronger, and that's how I've been able to get this to show what I was actually seeing. But of course, we all know that, as I said earlier in the video, the Camden tablet overdosing is what has brought down my pH, not the acid malt. So I can put this back to a 1, and I'll show you what would have happened. So if I had done everything properly with my source water, and I used the software as it is intended with a 1, as you can see, with a 1.5 ounces of acid malt, it would have had my pH at a 5.5. So I would have had to make an adjustment here. I could have probably set this to like 3 ounces, and see, that would bring me down to closer to the 5.4 range I was aiming for. Now, I did start using Brewfather lately, which I really enjoy, and I thank the guys. I know Nate kind of pointed it out to me in Discord, and I've seen some videos of other people using this, and I really like it. I've only been playing around with it for like a week and a half now, and so far so good. I like the fact that it's all consolidating everything into one place, and the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge on this, the reason why I went this way, is the tilt. So if you can imagine, I'm using Brew and Water. I'm using Easy Water Calculator for water information. I was using Beersmith for calculating my recipes out and for my brew day timers and things. And now I was using a tilt. So I'm using a tilt application and all that goes along with that. So it just felt like there was a lot of different things out there, a lot of different places to go for information. And I like the fact that Brewfather puts it all in one place. So I still have a lot to learn with the software. Right now I've imported a lot of stuff in from Beersmith, so a lot of the stuff that is in here is imported, and I haven't really tailored it yet. I did set up my equipment profile so far. I did set up my last couple of brews in here as an example, just to see the differences and how it would have worked if I had used this software, and of course the tilts in here. So just going off of the earlier example from Brew and Water, if I were to look at the Tipsy Smurf recipe as it stands, if I had brewed that the way it was, which I did, with the proper water, source water, treated, this is telling me it would have been a 5.64 mash pH, which is too high. So I would have had to go in here and make an adjustment. And if I set this to, say, 4 ounces, you can see that this would have brought me closer to what I actually got, which I guess I would have put a little bit more in here to go to 5.4. So I don't know what it would have really looked like, because I didn't actually brew this with the proper source water treatment, so I don't know how much acidulated malt I would have needed. But I could tell you that from today's brew day, I used 6 ounces of acidulated malt in that grain bill, and that got me to 5.2, which is exactly where I wanted to be. So I think now I can actually trust the software the way it's intended, and I shouldn't have to make any crazy tweaks in the software to get it to work the way I wanted to. But while I'm here, I'd like to show you, so there's got the tilt integration, which I really enjoy. Unfortunately, I only have one tilt, so I don't have the same data for the IPL that I brewed today. But 4 poured is looking like it's almost done, and I really like how all this is represented. It tells me when it was last updated, which was a few minutes ago. The gravity is 1017, 90% done, and I can click into this and get a nice little chart. And I could check this on my phone. I actually set up a widget on my phone so I can actually see this on my screen. But it's got some really cool information in here, and this is funny too. It's like this. I had realized that the Juggernaut really likes higher temperatures, so the other day I set it up to 85, and yeah, now it's finally finishing out. But what's cool is you can make adjustments to uh, how it actually went that brew day, and you can see down here it'll tell you like what the differences are. You know, what your actual efficiency was, what your volume actually was compared to what it should have been. And I'm going to use this kind of data for even the brew day today, because I noticed that my volumes were a bit low. So I could figure out where it went wrong. It'll tell you here where it went wrong, and I can adjust either the recipe or my equipment profile to figure out going forward how to fix that. So hopefully things will just get better and better from here. But there's some really cool things in the software. Like I really like how this carbonation section's here. So one of the things I was curious about was the having the, like, knowing when your keg was at the proper CO2 for whatever style you're going for. So in this case, it's telling me that for this style, for a pale ale, if you wanted to be 2.3 volumes of CO2, it tells you exactly how to get there. So that's kind of interesting information. I'll have to look more into that too. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here, a lot to mess around with, and I'll continue to report back on this if anybody's interested in that data. But yeah, so far so good with everything that I have here.